Greetings, this is problem 13-1B, page 632 of your textbook. Dividends on preferred and common stock. Yosemite Bike Corp manufactures mountain bikes and distributes them through retail outlets in California, Oregon, and Washington. Yosemite Bike Corp has declared the following annual dividends over a 6-year period ended December 31st of each year. In 2011, $24,000. In 2012, $10,000. In 2013, $126,000. In 2014, $100,000. In 2015, $125,000, and in 2016, $125,000. During the entire period, the outstanding stock of the company was composed of 25,000 shares of cumulative preferred 2% stock, $90 par, and 100,000 shares of common stock, $4 par. Instructions: determine the total dividends and the per-share dividends declared on each class of the stock for each of the 6 years. There were no dividends in arrears on January 1, 2011. Summarize the data in tabular form using the following column headings. These are the headings that are out of your textbook. These are the amounts that, if you look in your textbook, that are the dividends that were declared in each year. And what we need to do is determine how much of each of these years' dividends goes to the preferred and how much of these goes to the common stockholder. To figure the per-share amounts, we take the total that was allocated, either both common or preferred, and divide it by the number of shares that are outstanding to get the per share amount. We should also keep track of, on a piece of scratch paper, exactly how much dividends is in arrears for our preferred stockholders. Well, the first thing we need to do is determine how much should be paid out to the preferred stockholders as a total. And to do that, if you remember back in the first paragraph, it said it was preferred 2% stock, $90 par. To figure the amount of dividend that should be paid to the preferred stockholders, you take the percentage listed times the par value. So 2% times the $90 should mean that the preferred stockholders should receive $1.80 per share in dividends. If they do not receive the full $1.80 per share, then the amount left over is what is in arrears. So if we take the 25,000 shares that are outstanding for preferred stockholders, and if we take that times $1.80, we get that we should have a total of $45,000 just to satisfy the preferred dividends for our preferred stockholders. So starting in 2011, first list the amount of dividends they should be receiving. In this case, it's $45,000. But if we look in 2011, the total amount of dividends that were declared is $24,000. That is not the full $45,000. So we know that the preferred stockholders are going to receive all $24,000 of the declared dividends. That would mean that the common stockholder is going to receive zero of the dividends declared, which also makes it fairly easy to figure the per share amount because it would be zero. Remember that there are 25,000 shares that are outstanding. They're only receiving $24,000 total. So to find the per share amount, we just divide the 24,000 by the 25,000 shares, which would give us 96 cents per share. Now on our scratch paper, we want to put that $24,000 was paid to our preferred stockholders, but how much of that is now in what we call arrears? Otherwise, we didn't pay them enough dividends in 2011. So at the end of 2011, we have $21,000 in dividends for the preferred stockholder, which are in arrears. In 2012, the board of directors declared $10,000 in dividends. Again, this is not going to be enough to cover all the dividends, but we need to figure out what is the total amount. First, we had the $21,000 that was in arrears from the years before. We know that it takes $45,000 to pay 2012's dividends, which would mean that it would take a total of these two amounts added together to be caught up and not have any dividends in arrears, which means it would take $66,000 in 2012 to actually get caught up with the arrears amount in the preferred dividends. With the board of directors only allocated $10,000 for dividends, this would mean that the preferred stockholder is receiving all of the dividends in 2012. This also tells us that the common stockholders are going to receive zero again in 2012, which means the per share amount will be zero also. To figure the per share amount paid to the preferred stockholder in 2012, you take the $10,000 that was declared and divide it by the 25,000 shares that are outstanding. And that comes up to a total of 40 cents per share. And we would subtract the $10,000 that was paid out from the $66,000 needed to get the preferred stockholders caught up, and we are left with $56,000 in dividends that will be in arrears. In 2013, the stockholders are declaring $126,000 in dividends. So looking at the amount that is in arrears, we also have to add the $45,000 for 2013 dividends to our preferred stockholders, which gives us a total of $101,000 that it would take to bring the preferred stockholders up to date. $126,000 was declared in total dividends, which is enough to cover the total amount that is in arrears and this year's dividends for the preferred stockholder. And the amount it will take is $101,000 of that total amount. This also means that the common stockholder is going to receive a certain amount of dividends. So $126,000 was declared, $101,000 goes to the preferred, which leaves $25,000 to go to the common stockholder. To figure the per share amount for the common stockholder, if you remember, there are 100,000 shares of common stock outstanding, and so $25,000 divided by 100,000 shares would be 25 cents per share. For the preferred stockholder, if you remember, there are 25,000 shares outstanding for them, and so to find the amount that is being allocated per share, we would take the 101,000 and divide it by the 25,000 shares, which would be $4.04 per share in 2013. Let's also go over to our scratch paper. We are allocating $101,000 of those dividends to the preferred stockholders. That would mean we now have 0 dividends in arrears. So when we get to 2014, they declared $100,000 in dividends. There were no dividends in arrears for the preferred, so it would mean that they would get the $45,000 owed to them. Of course, this would equal out to be $1.80 per share. This also means that the remainder goes to the common stockholder. $100,000 minus the $45,000 would leave us with $55,000 total in dividends going to the common stockholder. There are 100,000 shares of common shares outstanding. $55,000 divided by the 100,000 shares would mean 55 cents per share. In 2015, they declared $125,000 in dividends. There are no dividends in arrears at the end of 2015 for the preferred stockholders, so they would receive $45,000. The amount that the common stockholder would receive would be the $125,000, subtracting the $45,000, leaving $80,000 to go to the common stockholder. $80,000 divided by 100,000 shares would leave us with 80 cents per share. For the preferred stockholder, it would still equal to be $1.80 per share. In 2016, the same amount of dividends was declared. There are no dividends in arrears, and so for 2016, the total amount would be the same as it was in 2015. Now we would add up the total amount of dividends that was paid out over the 6-year period. So for the preferred stockholder, it would be $10.80. For the common stockholder, it would be $2.40. Part 2 asks us to figure the average annual dividend that was actually paid out. Well, for the preferred stockholders, you would take the $10.80 and divide it by the 6 years. This would be $1.80 average dividend per year. For the common stockholder, it would be the $2.40 divided by the 6 years, and that would be an average of 40 cents per year over the last 6 years. Part 3 says assuming a market price of $100 for the preferred stock and $5 for the common stock, what they want us to do is calculate the average percentage of return for the shareholder's investment. To figure your average return, you just divide the average annual dividend by the market price and then turn it into a percentage. For the preferred stockholders, that would be 1.8%. For the common stockholder, 40 cents divided by $5 would give us a return of 8%, and that would be the end of problem 13.1b.